Football players usually decrease in value when they cross the 30-year-old mark. But there are always some exceptions to this rule. Sometimes these players can turn out amazing for the club that bought them, while others are just money down the drain. Hello and welcome to our channel. Today we're going to be telling you about the most expensive transfers of football players above 30 years of age. Cristiano Ronaldo, $117 million. This was meant to serve as the impetus. The Italian football powerhouse had all the pieces in place to finally win the Champions League, except for a merciless machine in front of the net. Even Cristiano Ronaldo's price tag of £117 million would be more than covered by increased sales. Juventus saw a new day with CR7 as he broke the record for a player over the age of 30, but it wasn't the one they had hoped for. While Ronaldo was in Serie A, the old lady lost to Ajax, Lyon and Porto in the European Cup quarterfinals, fired coach Max Allegri in favor of Maurizio Sarri, and then brought in Andrea Pirlo. The Scudetto dynasty ended after 9 consecutive seasons as the Portuguese sensation left the club secretly through the back door to join Manchester United. Casemiro, $70.6 million. Casemiro, a 5-time Champions League winner who joined Manchester United from European champion Real Madrid, was not a transfer many projected at the beginning of the summer. United needs reinforcements all over the field, but the absence of a quality defensive midfielder has been noticeable for quite some time. Ten Hag has strengthened his squad in a key position by acquiring Casemiro, widely considered the best defensive midfielder in the world. As someone who has made 589 tackles since the 2017-18 season began, United's midfield should be rather steady this year. Despite strengthening his team, this acquisition is going to cost United an arm and a leg, as the $70 million transfer fee is going to hurt the club. This deal makes Casemiro the second most expensive transfer of an over 30 player. Miralem Pjanic, $60 million. Possibly the most ridiculous move in Barcelona's transfer history. The Catalans spent almost $60 million on 30-year-old deep-lying playmaker Miralem Pjanic, while sending Arthur Melo to the other team for around the same amount. Some have speculated that Pjanic's stay in Spain supports the theory that the transfer was merely an attempt to strike a better financial balance. While he had been quite successful at Juventus, Roma and even Lyon, the Bosnian was utterly unproductive here, and it wasn't just because Sergio Busquets and Frenkie de Jong were ahead of him in the pecking order. Perhaps even he's regretting the transfer now that he thrived during the time he was on loan at Besiktas. With such keen eyesight, it's surprising that the player wasn't able to see the obvious. Robert Lewandowski, $45 million. In Europe, Robert Lewandowski has been a leading goal scorer in the region for a few seasons running. In 2020, the Poland international won his second consecutive European Golden Shoe after scoring 34 goals for the Bundesliga. Lewandowski scored 50 goals and dished out 7 assists in 46 games for Bayern Munich during the 2021-22 season. So it's no surprise that the 33-year-old has been widely linked with Barcelona after making clear his decision to quit the Bavarians this summer. In the summer, his dream came true when Barcelona and the Bavarian club agreed on a transfer fee for him. With 238 goals for Bayern, he finishes his career as the club's second all-time leading scorer. Paulinho, $42 million. When Paulinho left Tottenham Hotspur for Guangzhou Evergrande in the summer of 2015, it seemed like the end of his elite career. However, the Brazilian midfielder played so well in China, scoring 28 goals and assisting on 10 more, that Barcelona signed him in for 2017. When compared to other transfer fees paid to Chinese clubs, the €60 million they received is still the highest ever. Many people were surprised by the move because Paulinho didn't fit the mold of the typical Barcelona midfielder. In his brief time with Barcelona, however, Paulinho showed remarkable consistency. He ended up making 49 appearances for the Catalans in all competitions, scoring 9 goals and assisting on 3 others. The Brazilian international was highly regarded for his contributions to Barcelona's domestic double that year. Paulinho, however, returned to Guangzhou Evergrande in the summer of 2018-2019 on a loan agreement that included a buyout provision. The Chinese club made Paulinho's loan move permanent on January 4, 2019, after exercising the option to do so for €42 million. Bonucci, $42 million. In Italy, Leonardo Bonucci has played for several different clubs. He's regarded as one of the best central defenders of all time and has already collected 9 Serie A trophies in his career. The Italian international defender Bonucci joined Juventus in 2010 after playing for Inter Milan, Treviso, Pisa and Bari. Between 2012 and 2017, he led Turin to 6 straight Serie A championships. Bonucci joined AC Milan for €42 million in the summer of 2017 when he was 30 years old. Bonucci was the most expensive addition to Milan's disastrous 2017 trolley sprint. Vincenzo Montella was fired as manager and replaced with fan favourite Rino Gattuso, since none of the new recruits meshed well together. The centre-back has now admitted that his move to the San Siro was a mistake, and Milan was rightly punished by UEFA for its excessive spending. The 7-time European champions paid over $40 million for a defender who's well into his 30s. You may say that didn't work out. Kalidou Koulibaly, $38 million. On Saturday, Chelsea confirmed that Senegalese defender Kalidou Koulibaly had been acquired from Napoli on a 4-year contract. After acquiring Raheem Sterling earlier in the summer, reports indicated that Chelsea paid a fee of roughly £32 million to get the 31-year-old as the second major signing of the season. Koulibaly said in a statement, "I'm really thrilled to be here with this club at Chelsea. As a kid, all I ever wanted to do was play for a major side in the Premier League. In 2016, Chelsea was the one to come and fetch me, but we ended up being too late. Now when they approached me, I agreed to come play for them in the Premier League." Todd Boehly, the company's chairman and controlling owner, said that "We're overjoyed to have signed Kalidou Koulibaly, one of the best defenders in the world. Kalidou is an outstanding leader and a model teammate, and he will be an invaluable addition to our team and to the club as a whole." Radian Nainggolan, $38 million. In his prime, Radian Nainggolan was an unstoppable force of energy. The Belgian was one of the most sought-after players in Serie A's midfield during his prime due to his dynamic, fierce, and outstanding play both going forward and backward. In the wake of his final game for Roma, Nainggolan joined Inter on a permanent basis, much to the club's expense. This was in contrast to Batistuta, who spent only a few months on loan at the San Siro. He was worth £34.2 million in the player plus cash deal, but it's impossible to see past the fact that this was one of the worst deals in recent memory. After only one full season with Inter, the Belgian midfielder spent the next 2 seasons on loan before moving to Royal Antwerp for free. And to make matters worse, Nainggolan's former teammate Nicolo Zaniolo scored the game-winning goal that propelled Roma to the Europa League title last season, while Nainggolan was busy helping his new team qualify for the tournament. Gabriel Batistuta, $36.2 million. It was always going to take a very extraordinary offer to lure Gabriel Batistuta away from Fiorentina. Batistuta was a devastating attacker for Argentina in 3 World Cups, and he was also incredibly loyal, staying with Fiorentina for a full 9 years, including a season in Serie B in 1993-94. He was still at the peak of his powers when Roma came knocking in 2000, but Fiorentina demanded a hefty sum for their talesman. As a result of signing Batigol, Roma paid the biggest transfer fee ever for a player over the age of 30, but he more than made up for it by scoring 20 goals and winning the championship that season. However, he was unable to crack double figures in any of the subsequent 2 seasons. Still, many will argue that the 20 goals were well worth it because they helped the Giallorossi win their most recent Scudetto. Jasper Cillessen, $35 million. In 2016, during the height of Barcelona's lavish spending, Jasper Cillessen was acquired from Ajax for £13 million as a backup for Marc-Andre ter Stegen, with other highly regarded players such as Denis Suarez and Andre Gomes for a total of £35 million. However, that was not a reasonable choice. The £30 million plus Paco Alcacer bombed, and once promising Luke Gazdaini didn't last long, and the once promising Alan Halilovic didn't pan out and is now playing for Reading. Cillessen joined Suarez and Gomez in being flogged by Barca this year as the club attempted to make up for the past disappointments. Cillessen brought in a healthy profit for Barcelona this year, despite the fact that he was never a reliable starter. 3 years after acquiring the services of the Dutch goalkeeper from Ajax, Valencia paid a fee that more than doubled the Catalan club's initial investment. That's a good move on their part. They've done several shady transfer deals in previous years. On the other hand, Nito relocated in the opposite direction that summer for a bit less money and only a few weeks before he turned 30 as well. While the Brazilian has been Marc-Andre ter Stegen's backup in Camp Nou, Gilison has played in at least 50 games for Losche. So that is all, and we come to the end of today's video, folks. Hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and do hit the bell icon on your way out. See you all next time, folks.